I tend to take a lot of risks in my teaching. I probably have a little bit of a higher tolerance for risk than many of my colleagues. I've learned a lot, I've developed new approaches, and I just have the mindset that I like to try new things. That isn't to say, though, that some of the risks I've taken haven't totally flopped, because they have. I think back to the semester-long course that I tried to gamify, only to see it fall apart in the first few weeks. I think about another semester with a different class that I tried to use Twitter not only as a back channel, but also for the only means of communication between and classes, as well as the way that students turned in their assignments. Really bad idea. Now, both of those examples have two things in common. Neither of them really did I start out with a big idea or a goal or a purpose or an aspiration. I really just wanted to try something out for the sake of trying something new. They were also huge efforts. Lots of planning went into it, or there was a big investment in terms of this was in the syllabus, this is what we were going to do for the semester. In both cases, there was a lot at stake. So through those kinds of experiences and in taking risks in areas of my personal life and in my professional life, I've learned a few things about the benefits of risk taking, but also ways to avoid some of the pitfalls or challenges that can arise. So I thought I'd offer 4 ideas for you today and then 1 challenge for you to take forward. So first, more than anything else, it's really key when you're thinking about trying something new, either to solve a problem or to take advantage of an opportunity, and you're thinking about taking some risks, start small. With your purpose or goal in mind, start on the smallest step that you can take to help you move in that direction. When you start small or take a little step, or what Peter Sims calls a little bet, you don't have as much invested. You haven't spent a lot of time, effort, money, resources into planning something because it's a small risk or it's a small bet. That way, if things don't go exactly as planned, it's easier to pivot. You haven't invested so much. You're not going to be so dogged in your wanting to see it through. The other thing I mentioned there briefly in that point was critical is to always have a purpose or a big aspiration that you're working towards. Now, I co-direct an innovation center. I love trying new ideas. I see a lot of value in taking risks and trying out new approaches to test to see how they really work in practice. That said, you should never take risks just for the sake of taking a risk. You should never work towards innovation just for the sake of innovating. It always should be grounded in a goal or a purpose. This will both help you to take a calculated risk that will move you towards that goal, and also you'll be invested enough in where you're trying to go to see it through and to learn from whatever happens when you take that risk. So the third thing, be sure to have your eyes and ears open as you take this risk. Observe and reflect. How did it go? What was surprising? What surprising happened as you took this risk? What can we learn from the students or other colleagues that perhaps I was working with? It's really critical to take that time to observe and reflect so that you can learn the most from that risk and think about what the next steps are. And that's actually another idea, that as we think about taking risks towards our goal or towards our aspiration, we always ought to have that mindset, that growth mindset that says, look, even if it doesn't work how I hope it will, or even if something unexpected happens, I can learn from it, build on that, and grow. Or even if it's a total flop, I can cut my losses and move on, but know that the next time might be different. The next time I will take that experience and try something different. But I always have that mindset that I can grow, I can improve, I can take advantage of opportunities, I can solve problems. So having that growth mindset really is a prerequisite really for any of these other tips. So starting small, working towards a goal or an aspiration, taking the time to observe and reflect what happens, and then developing that mindset that I can grow from this experience and do better each and every day. That's how you can take advantage of risks and really make them pay off to hone your practice. Now here's your challenge. Think about a goal or an aspiration you have for your students, your teaching, your classroom, something that is important to you, something that's big. It could be a problem that you want to solve or an opportunity that you want to take advantage of. But really have something in mind and think about what's one small step, one small risk that I can take in the next 3 days to try to move towards this goal or this aspiration. What's one small risk I can take? Try it out. In the next 3 days, no additional resources, not a lot of time invested, not a lot at stake, but try one small risk to try to move towards that goal or aspiration, and then share what you found out. You can add a comment below this video, you can tweet at me, at Mark Hofer, or you can use the hashtag #SparkLearning on Twitter. But share what it is you've learned from trying this small risk. I hope this quick video just gives you a few insights, a few ideas for how you can do manageable risks towards a real purpose. This is something we're going to continue to explore in these videos and on the blog, in some courses that I'm developing. But this idea of purposeful risk-taking, innovation for improvement. I hope you found this useful. Please leave us a comment or do a shout out on Twitter.